Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm out on the North Cornwall coast heading down to Crackington Haven. I've seen a few hints earlier in the day that there might be a chance of catching the Northern Lights, so I grabbed my gear and made a last minute dash to the coast. I've parked up near the village and I'm now hiking up the coastal path to get a bit of elevation. The cliffs here are pretty steep, but the views are really incredible, and having a clear view north could make all the difference for tonight. It's one of those nights where you're not quite sure what you're going to get. Maybe just a faint glow on the horizon, or if we're lucky, some real structure and movement in the Northern Lights. Either way, it's a good excuse to get out under the stars, camera in hand, and see what happens.
Okay, so I'm at the top of the cliff now at Crackington Haven, and you can see Castle Pier and some wonderful Northern Light beams up here. So I've got my main camera that I'm shooting here at the moment. I've only just got here, so I'm just doing some sky frames at the moment. Got Northern Lights outside. I've got a time lapse running this side, and you can just see Orion setting to the western skies. Now there is some cloud on this side, which I'm a bit cautious about, so I'm just making the most of photographing as much of these beams as I can while they're here. But yeah, super beautiful at the moment. What's interesting is that you've actually got, so north is directly this way, but you do have some Aurora right around to the northwest here. Got the Seven Sisters as well, so yeah, some really interesting conditions here at the moment.
So this is my first image of the Northern Lights that I saw from the cliff, and you can see the pillars stretching across the sky here, and those are the lights from viewed close to the horizon. You can actually see the Milky Way as well in the sky at this point. Obviously not the Milky Way cool, but still quite interesting to see. I took this shot with my Canon R6 using a 24mm lens with an aperture of 2.8 to let as much light in as possible. To capture the fast moving Northern Light pillars, I kept the ISO at 6400 and used an 8-second exposure, just long enough to keep the structure intact, but short enough to avoid too much blur from the movement. For my next composition, I set up for a long exposure capturing what I thought was a really dramatic and layered stretch of coastline, looking out towards Millock. The mid-ground cliffs created a beautiful sense of depth, I thought, with the near foreground carving and wrapping around the frame. At this stage of the night, the Aurora beams were really starting to pop and dance across the horizon. It was absolutely stunning to see with the naked eye. For the sky, I kept the same exposure setting as my previous shot to capture the fast moving pillars, but for the foreground I took a second, much longer exposure, around 60 seconds, to bring out the rich textures and detail in the coastal cliffs. Later on, I merged the two exposures together in Photoshop to create the final image, bringing both the energy of the sky and the rugged beauty of the landscape into a single frame.
Maybe 10 minutes and it's ebbed and flowed. It's just died down a bit now, but a few nice pillars. Time lapse is still going. Ryan is setting a bit more now. I think you just about see the zodiacal light as well there. You see the Seven Sisters, Ryan's belt, Sirius, some cloud there, probably like the nuclear area that way. You've got Crackington Haven, and you can see a little bit of cloud inland, so I think it was a good choice to come to Crackington Haven. So yeah, super productive at the moment.
At this point in the night, things started to get hectic as the Aurora activity picked up again. The live stats suggested it might not last too long, so I rushed around the cliffs trying to grab a few more compositions before it faded away. This shot was one of them. I jumped into the frame myself, hoping to add a bit of scale and depth to the scene. For my final image of the night, I scrambled through thick heather on a steep hill to reach this vantage point. hoping to feature the small waterfall in the frame. Even then, it felt like something was missing, so once again, I decided a figure in the landscape would help this image to give it that extra sense of scale and perspective that helps bring a landscape to life. Just like that, the aurora began to retreat and the skies lightened with the rising moon, signalling the end of the night and time to head home. It had been a rewarding evening, seeing the Northern Lights with my own eyes for the 4th time and the first time this year. Hopefully there will be a few more opportunities ahead. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.